It's interesting. I think everyone is kind of reevaluating what does marketing do at a lot of companies. And I think part of it is because marketing has gotten really core to driving transactions. I mean, the digital space, the online space, enables you to now close the gap between consumption and awareness in ways that didn't exist before. And I think it's even more important to think about the whole relationship that you have with the consumer, and that's placed a lot more demands, I think, on marketers to show that they're driving transactions and they're driving awareness. And where does marketing start and stop, and when does the actual sale begin? I think that's gotten all gray and cloudy and confusing to a lot of companies, and it's gotten confusing probably to a lot of CEOs as well. And I think that's made jobs of top marketing people really challenging. There's two pieces of marketing I think haven't changed. So percent of the relationship is driven on a functional benefit of a product and service. So what does the product actually do, and how do I learn about that, and how do I experience that? And you could experience that in store, and you could experience it at a store. And then the other 40 to 60% is based on the emotional connection consumers have to the brand that they're buying or the brand that they're buying it from. And I think how that comes to life outside and in the store is really important. Before they get to the store, making our pricing and our value props as easy to understand. And that includes the traditional insert, which goes to most households every weekend, to how we communicate to consumers online and advertise promotions. So we want to make sure that we're making our basket of goods and what we're selling as easy to understand, both from a value perspective and an absolute price perspective. And then when they come to the store, we want to make sure that that's consistent with the expectations that we've given them in a piece of advertising. And that is, from the minute they walk in the door, what's the message, and what's the store layout, what are the marketing materials that surround them, and making sure that that builds upon whatever they saw outside the store. So integration is becoming more important. It's also becoming more challenging. Done some interesting things like launching an in-store media network, because we have billions of people coming into our stores. And so that media network provides a way for vendors to talk about their products, and for us to engage consumers in a way that leverages our high definition wall. And so when you think about your store as not just a store, but a place as a network where they're going to be exposed to messages, whether they live on the wall or whether they come from an employee, it makes you look at your in-store environment, and it makes you look at your company differently. For a place like Best Buy that has 1,200 big box stores, an online channel in the billions of dollars, integration is important. So the whole end-to-end process of how does something go from an idea or a promotion concept to something that then shows up in the store. And a great example is holiday. So how do you integrate and do superior end-to-end execution is getting more difficult, because there's a lot more complexity. The number of promotions, the online space that's driving those promotions to get people into the store, how does it show up when they walk in? Can they find the products that they heard about easily? Do we have those products? Are they signed the right way? If they had an idea to go search for a product, when they get to the shelf set, does that make them feel more confident about what they're buying or less confident? And so tying that all together is really important. One model that we're moving to is we have partners that do help us, and we have the whole supply chain of folks that provide fixtures, the folks that provide signs, the folks that put in catalogs. I think what's becoming important to us is to make sure that we have the right brand story that we want to tell down before we engage outside parties, because I think the ROI in engaging outside parties to do stuff in store goes dramatically down when you don't understand what you're trying to accomplish from a brand standpoint, from a consumer experience lens, and how you want to show up. I think the important thing is to really understand at the end of the day, how are you managing the relationship with your consumer. Ultimately, all retailers want the same thing. You want consumers to come to you as frequently and as often as possible. And so that relationship, it's tempting to look at that relationship in terms of a one-hit, one-off, you're in the store. And you can get distracted by, as we call it, a lot of shiny new coins. So there's a lot of new things that you can do. And I think the important thing is, how do you take a step back and say, how do I look at that relationship over time? And if I have someone come to me once, what do I need to deliver, and then what do I also need to offer to get them to come back again and again? And I think the in-store experience is critical to that, because a great in-store experience is a big driver to you coming back.